Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to another video where we expose the lies and ignorance of J. Smith. Today's topic is going to be very interesting. Another bold claims that J. Smith made. The claim goes like this. Every single Muslim thinks that the 7 readings are the same 7 Ahruf which were revealed to Prophet Muhammad. Every Muslim thinks that the 7 readers, Nafi', Ibn Kathir, Abu Amr, Asim, Hamza, Al-Kisai, Ibn Amr, all these 7 readers lived during the time of Prophet Muhammad. Let's hear the claim from J. Smith.
So when you ask Muslims, are these the 7 that Muhammad received? And they say, yeah, these are the 7 because they're the same number. No, they're not. Take a look at the dates. So did Muhammad choose these 7? Almost every Muslim I ask this question, they say, yes, Muhammad. No, he did not. So who chose these 7? Go to the timeline again. There he is, Ibn Mujahid. 936, he is the one that chooses those 7. But look at his date. 936 is 300 years after Muhammad. That's 300 years later. Ibn Mujahid is the one that's responsible for choosing these 7. And these are the 7 that Muslims think are the same 7 that Jibril gave to Muhammad way back there in 632. No, they're not.
But the reason I bring this up is that every Muslim thinks this all happened during the time of Muhammad, that this happened before Uthman, that these 7 readings were there at the time of Uthman, before Uthman, and that these readings all took place while Muhammad was...
Now, we've always been told that these 7 were the 7 that were revealed to the Prophet while he was still living, so it had to be before 632.
Whenever you talk to a Muslim, and I'm going to ask you Muslims in this case, whenever you hear about these 7, you are always been told by your authorities that these 7 are the same 7 that Jibril was introduced to Muhammad before he died in 632. Muslims today believe are these 7 right here. These cannot be those 7. We're repeating again. Just look at the dates. And that's why in our broadcasts, we're going to put up a timeline there. Just remind Muslims, look at the timeline. Always look and place them on a scale. And you will see that this is absolutely impossible historically.
I can't believe what I just heard. Wallahi, I can't believe. I don't really understand how can someone repeat a lie again and again with that much confidence. I don't even think that I have to provide evidences and proofs in order to debunk his claim. His claim is debunked by the fact that there is not a single Muslim scholar who argued that the 7 readers or the 7 readings are the exact same Ahruf that was revealed to Prophet Muhammad. There is no debate within Islam on this issue. Every Muslim scholar, every single student of knowledge knows that the 7 readers did not meet the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. That the 7 readings are not the same 7 Ahruf that were revealed to Prophet Muhammad. The problem with Jay is that he's not saying some Muslim scholar thinks that the 7 readings are the same 7 that were revealed to Prophet Muhammad, which is also stupid, but at least it's by far much less stupid than to say that every Muslim says that the 7 readings are the same 7 Ahruf that were revealed to Prophet Muhammad. In fact, not just that, Jay accuses the man who compiled the 7 readings of confusing Ahrufs and readings.
Not one of them was doing their work in the same century Muhammad was living in the 7th century. Can you see how stupid this was? Ibn Mujahid to say, oh, these are the 7 that I have chosen in the 10th century that were living in the 7th century, who were there when Muhammad was living, and it was he that was saying, these are the 7 I choose. So give us an example. How idiotic that sounds.
So Ibn Mujahid is saying, these are the 7 that I chose in the 10th century that were living in the 7th century. Even Ibn Mujahid seems to be ignorant on this issue. According to Jay, Ibn Mujahid thought that the 7 readings that he chose were the exact same 7 Ahruf that were revealed to Prophet Muhammad. Anyways, this ends with one simple challenge to J. Smith. Jay, if you can find a single Muslim scholar who says that the 7 readings are exactly the same 7 Ahruf that Prophet Muhammad ﷺ received, or who said that the 7 readers met Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, if you can find that, then I'm going to leave Islam and convert to Christianity. And if you are going to take my advice, I would say save yourself time and energy, because Muslim scholars, unlike you, have this very strange habit of reading and researching before making a conclusion. It's called reading and researching. They do their research before talking. Please try it in the future. Believe me, it works.
Ibn Mujahid is the one that's responsible for choosing these seven. And these are the seven that Muslims think are the same seven that Jibril gave to Muhammad way back there in 632. No.
Why did J. Smith make such a foolish assumption? The assumptions that every Muslim believes that the seven readers existed at the time of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The answer is simple. J doesn't understand the difference between Ahruf and Qira'aat.
7 Ahruf, as he keeps on talking about 7 Ahruf. Now remember, we're up to 37 different Ahruf, so this is no longer 7, but that's the 7 Ahruf that they have to get from the tradition.
Where do you stand on Ahruf and Qira'at? And for those who are uninitiated, we're talking about the dots and the vowels that are added to the Arabic in the 8th and 9th century, and by the 9th and 10th century, then you have many different schools of Ahruf and Qira'at. Next week, I'm getting a book that has 10 of these Ahruf and Qira'at with other two students for each one of the 10. So we're talking about 30 of these different Ahruf and Qira'at.
Jay doesn't know how to distinguish between Ahruf and Qira'at, which is not a problem if you are a layman. But it is very embarrassing if you are presenting yourself as an expert on the Qur'an. Let me try to explain to Jay the difference between the Ahruf and the Qira'at. And to do that, let's take this example. Here we have 7 sets of letters in different colors. Let's say that each color represents a mode of recitation. Here we have 7 modes of recitation. In other words, 7 Ahruf. Out of these 7, you are allowed to choose whatever mode you prefer. You can even use a combination of all these 7 modes. And each combination you are going to make is going to be called a reading. So now we have 2 different terminologies. The first is Ahruf, the modes of recitations you are permitted to use. And then we have the reading, the set of choices each reader makes out of these 7 modes. So for example, using these letters, I can make this sentence: J is ignorant. You can realize here that I could make 10 different set of choices from these 7 modes. Each one is different from the other, but all of them come from the same source. In this table, I made 10 different set of choices, but in fact, I could make many more than that. I could make 20, 30, even hundreds. These different set of choices are called readings. They're not the same as the Ahruf, but they come from the Ahruf. And that's exactly the difference between the Ahruf and the readings, which Jay doesn't seem to understand. 7 different Ahruf was revealed to Prophet Muhammad. Anyone who recited the Quran could choose between these different Ahruf. He doesn't have to use one harf to recite the whole Quran. He could use up to 7 modes to recite the Quran. And these choices he made is called reading. So the 7 or 10 readings came from the 7 Ahruf, but they're not the same as the 7 Ahruf. I mean, Jibril definitely didn't reveal Nafi' reading to Prophet Muhammad ﷺ or Abu Amr. These 7 readings were not revealed to Prophet Muhammad. What was revealed to Prophet Muhammad was the 7 different modes. So to make it simple, the 7 readings are not the same as the 7 Ahruf, but they come from the 7 Ahruf. So once again, J. Smith proves himself to be the biggest ignorant Christian polemicist in the entire world. I hope that Jay would find my videos beneficial to help him understand the basics of the Quran preservation narrative. Thank you very much for watching. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.